What's up, YouTube? Listen, we back. Godfather Tank D. I got my man
Hectic the Backpacker.
Yo, we got another video for y'all. We about to get
Living
right into
Black
it.
Podcast, Joe. Get hip.
All right, check it out.
We going raw dog. We don't even know what this is. What is this?
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Is sex in your travel itinerary? It's one of the travel goals for a community called the Passport Bros, meaning brothers. It's a traveling community of upwardly mobile black men. Some are accused of going around the world searching for a more traditional and submissive wife. But is it all about sex and just a girlfriend for hire and then return home to humiliate black women in America?
Are we going to Thailand?
That's the controversy that we're dealing with. One of its members, Austin Holman, is apologizing for comments that he made about Brazilian women. Take a listen.
What I meant by when I said that Brazilian women are easy, and I shouldn't use the word easy. I know that now. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying is, for a man that's well-mannered, well-dressed, that has put in the effort to raise himself, he will have an easier time in Brazil as opposed to where I was from. That wasn't always the case.
So let me pause right here. So
we early on the pause.
I gotta ask.
We a minute in, bro.
Are you looking at traveling overseas to find you a more submissive wife or wives?
No. I mean, unless I go to Africa. But even then, it's not for that purpose. It's because I like African women, and we got those over here. So, I mean,
you don't really gotta go nowhere.
I ain't gotta. It's in my backyard. We in Atlanta.
So this guy, Austin Holloman, he's a part of this movement called the Passport Bros. So and basically, their whole thing is
sex tourism.
Well,
look, trafficking.
Not okay. So here's how they present. They basically state that the women and modern women are not submissive or feminine. So what they're doing is they're looking for better, suitable mates overseas.
All right, so that's where you lost me, because to do that, you kind of have to have this ideology, or at least make the statement that there are no submissive women here.
That's their stance. There are no submissive women here.
That is false. That is nothing about that statement is true. Like, you know what I mean? Because just like you have women overseas that are submissive, you have women overseas that are not, which means you in the same pot.
All right, but their argument is more women over there that are more feminine than they are masculine, versus here the women are more masculine than they are feminine.
So what's the goal of this? If we're making that the statement, hey, there are more masculine women here, there are more feminine women overseas, then the goal is what? To get you a wife overseas, or are you just trying to get easy box from Brazil?
Well, let's keep watching.
Both American and women around the world are speaking out against the Passport Bros, arguing these guys are using their status to take advantage of women and even calling it a form of sex tourism and sex trafficking. Let's talk about it. Communication specialist Priscilla Pack and Rochelle Gemini both are here on The Factor Uncensored. We were supposed to do this last week. We're doing it this week. You have done a lot of research. When you think about and what you've heard about Passport Bros, your opinion on this so-called group?
Let me tell you, they weren't even on my radar. You brought it up to me, and then I saw it, and I was just like, oh, that's cute. You know, guys go and get their passports. My son just got his passport last week. He's 9, so that's cool. Passport brothers, that's what's up. Then I started doing the research, and I'm like, wait a minute. Because I grew up, you know, with 2-parent household. My parents still happily married. I grew up in love. Some people grew up in survival mode, and maybe they just in a whole nother dimension of trying to find love or trying to find easy situations and everything. But at the same time, it was like, why do you have to put down the thing that you don't like in front of everybody just to get the thing that you do want? I don't care.
That being black women in America, putting them down for women who may be of color in another country.
Right. That one.
Now let me talk about that.
Of color.
Now, I want to talk about that. So, like, I've been kind of like, keeping my ear to the streets a little bit about like the guys that's going overseas looking for, different women or whatever for various reasons. But my whole thing when I heard it, cause like I understand if you say, hey, you know what, I'm into exotic women, I just prefer that. I want to travel and find me somebody. That's one thing. It's another thing when you say that, the women that are in my circle are just horrible and I don't want nothing to do with them, and you're constantly bashing those women. You see what I'm saying? Because again, our whole thing isn't about trying to bash women. It's like, okay, well, how can we make this better? If there's something wrong, how can we fix it? Again, we're men. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things that we take pride in is like, okay, this thing isn't working. How can I build it, or how can I fix it? You see what I'm saying? How can I make it better? And something else, there's another video that I'm gonna have to show you a little bit later. But there was a video where like this woman was talking about like, look, we can't respect no man that's bashing his own woman. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for us to even rock with you. And I can understand that. And like when I listen to, some of the guys that are into the Passport Bros movement, again, I don't have a problem with you wanting to go overseas to find, love or whatever. But I'm looking at two things: the results, which I'm noticing that a lot of these guys aren't getting married. You know what I'm saying? They're just over there and they're just dating like how they would date here, where it's like you with one chick and then 6 months later you with somebody else. And then the other thing is they're constantly bringing down our women. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you don't got to do that. You know what I mean? Just because, again, you're not happy, that's fine. That's your truth, so to speak. But again, if you want to go travel, then go travel. But you don't got to bash our women to make yourself feel better. You know what I'm saying? That's just my take on the matter.
I look at it like this. It's like, if this ain't what you want, leave it alone. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because just like you might have an issue with a certain type of woman, and I guess they're talking about black women, somebody else might not. They might be able to be man enough to have that woman submit to them. Maybe you just ain't that.
So in other words, these dudes are weak, more than likely.
More than likely. I only met one of them so far. And he was talking about getting easy boxing in Brazil, and then he went back on it, but then doubled down. It was like, yo, I'm sorry I said that it was easy. What I should have said was that being a man that's groomed and, of a certain status, they have a better time, or an easier time getting these women. You're basically saying the same thing,
right?
Because it just makes me feel like your goal was to get the box, and because sisters ain't giving it up because they're modern women and they want money and they want all of the things modern women want, and you not willing to do that. So you want to go a whole nother country to women that's like, look, I don't care about none of that. You got status, you got looks,
and plus it's cheaper.
It's oh cheaper my goodness, let's go.
Maybe also submissive to them.
Exactly.
But also paid prostitution in many cases.
And that's what they're covering up. And you can tell that by the
way
that
you prove it.
Austin was talking, because I saw the other videos of him going like, hey, you would have sexual intercourse with me tonight, right? And she's saying, yes. They about to really get a lick on him. That's what's really about to happen. Because I also saw some of the women from overseas saying, yeah, we're just trying to get a lick. They also came out saying, we know these passport.
What's the difference between that and modern women?
So essentially,
great question.
Chumps themselves.
Yes.
They're simply Johns on the streets of America.
They might be some that might be actually looking for love that can't find it maybe in America.
She ain't said nothing yet.
You didn't let some rotten apples into y'all group, and y'all need to call the ones out that's not doing it correctly. Because baby, we not just in America. You can claim wherever you want to be anytime. I don't care. Get a passport. Go find your love. But at the same time, don't put down us just because you feel like you've had some rejection. Deal with rejection. Heal.
This video?
Go do your thing. We don't care.
Now, I got a question.
Is this the demographic of women that is like a hit dog will holla?
Right. And then, but like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, she's a poet.
Yeah. Miss Gemini.
What does that have to do with
nothing?
Like like I can understand if they got like a relationship expert, you know, a dating coach, if they got, you know, I don't know, someone who's into like sex trafficking or something like that.
Who's
you know
more experienced in dating than a poet?
Oh Lord.
Let's talk about it. She's an expert at dating.
Man, let's keep going.
And of course, we're not talking about all individuals who may travel out of the country. But Priscilla, for those who may be taking advantage of women out there and then trying to humiliate black women in America, your thoughts about
it? All right. I do have a problem with this, though, because he's framing this as if these guys are going overseas and they're taking advantage of these women, and they're not. They're going overseas and they're having a good time. These women that they're engaging with, whether it's as he's saying or alluding to, prostitution, which means that they're getting compensated for it. They don't have a problem with it. Or if he's going out there and, you know, he's hitting the club scene or whatever, and he's dating, you know, these women because they're so-called easier, he's not taking advantage of these women because these women want to entertain them. Either they want to get a lick like she said, or they're actually interested in want to entertain these guys. But these guys aren't going out here manipulating these women and, you know, taking advantage of them or nothing like that. They're not doing none of that. So let's just stop it.
I need the proof, because all I've seen is one guy so far out of the group, and basically he just seems like he's not looking for a wife. He's not looking for a woman to submit. He's not looking for none of that. He wants a good time. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to guess that the rest of these guys are just, hey, I'm looking for a good time, and I just found it to be easier to do that over here, then I'm going to do that.
Right.
I mean, what is wrong with that, though? Like, if they're consenting women, consenting adults, you know what I mean? And maybe, here's the key that I was getting at. Culturally, right? The way that they look at the men in general, wherever they're going, is just different than the way men are viewed here. Then that by default is going to make it easier. You feel what I'm saying? And that's not a them thing, that's a us thing. Let's go.
about that?
I think it's really, really sad. Like, I look at them and I almost want to pity them, but then I don't, because there's a level of ignorance that's deplorable. Go ahead and use that word today. I think that they are taking advantage, at least from what they project themselves to be as a group. They're taking advantage of gender gaps and economic opportunities that are not there in these other countries that are present for us in America, in the States, in Canada, in Scandinavia, all over the world, and not even thinking back to the history of why are women and people made to be so independent in this country today. I think there's so many factors that they shove to the side.
That's all you. That's all you. I'm not touching it.
It's not about like your financial status. It's not about education or none of that when these guys are going out dating. In fact, most men don't really give a shit about none of that, if we're being honest. You know what I'm saying? The truth of the matter is, like, what we want is someone that will actually cooperate with us. Someone that we can actually get along with. Someone that is actually friendly and isn't coming with all this attitude and baggage and everything else. What these guys are asking for isn't unreasonable. And the thing is, anytime you hear these guys say, hey, you know, this is what we want, the first thing you start hearing women talk about is,
deplorable.
Well, you just feel some sort of way because I'm independent and I don't need you. And I'm going to give you a little secret, ladies, that most guys will never tell you and most women will never tell you. But men actually do like to feel needed. And when you're constantly saying that you don't need us, that's basically saying that we don't want nothing to do with you. You're just something for me to play with. And most men don't take kindly to that. So y'all have to start adjusting the conversation and how y'all are talking to us, because the fact that you have a group of men that are willing to completely disengage with you means that there's a problem with you. Now, I'm not going to exclude the men, because I do think these dudes need to, you know, grow a backbone, you know what I'm saying, and man up. But at the same time, if you got a group of men that are saying, hey, you know what? I would rather go overseas, spend my money with these other women because they're more friendly and they're more fit and I'm having a better time with them than you, then instead of you getting mad at the men, you need to reflect on yourself and start saying, okay, well, what are we doing wrong as women, and how can we be better?
You know, I was just thinking about this just now. Like, if these guys are just like, hey, I'm just going overseas and I'm meeting these women and I'm having a good time and it's a whole lot easier to do it there than do it here. The question then becomes like, I was like, wait a minute. You know, I wasn't always as modest as I am now, but when I was out in these streets, there was always somebody that was with the shits. So you can't tell me that in the United States, you can't go somewhere and find somebody that's with the shits. Like, if we just having fun, if we just kicking it, if you like, yeah, I'm choosing up on you, you choosing up on me, that happens all the time. Why are these niggas not getting play in America?
Like I said, I do agree that some of these cats need to man up, you know, but we're going to keep going.
For their preferences and trying to deem it a movement, which is so disappointing to hear. The civil rights movement was a movement.
Facts.
Wow.
Facts.
You know, anti-apartheid movement was a movement.
Come on.
So I'm thinking of passport pros like, this is a shame. You could really take advantage of your opportunity to educate people on how to get a passport, to go overseas, travel the world, and to learn.
All right, look, I'm going to make this real simple for y'all.
Let's go.
First and foremost, whether this is a huge movement or a small movement, it's still a movement nonetheless, man.
But it's like, there's only like, what? How many people are in this group? Like 5 people? I wouldn't describe that as a movement.
There is a decent amount of guys that's doing it.
But Passport Bros, what's the group number?
Like, I don't have all the information.
I don't got all the answers, Sway.
I don't. But look, to my other point though, where, you know, she's basically making it seem as if, like, you know, what you should be doing is educating people how to do such and such and blah blah. Look, I'm gonna give y'all the secret, okay? Because I have my passport,
right?
And me and my wife used to travel every year up until my daughter was born,
right?
This is all you need to do. If you go on Google and you type in passport, there's going to be a government website that comes up. What you're going to do, you're going to click on that government site.
Just type a couple letters.
And this how you know it's the right site, because it's going to say .gov at the end of it for the people in the back. But you're going to fill out that information.
Pass by the ads. They're going to try to charge you, bro.
Right. You're going to fill out the information. You're going to go to like Sam's Club or Walgreens or something like that, get you a picture taken.
Cha-ching.
And then you're going to submit your documents.
Yep.
And you're good to go. This isn't rocket science. They literally will they have a PDF that tells you step by step what you need to do. And the other thing too is, like, if you're not sure, you know, you don't feel comfortable with the internet, that's okay. You can go to the DMV. They're going to give you all the information that you need so that you can get your passport. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. You know, if you can get a driver's license, you can get a passport.
You know what I noticed about the social media and YouTube and online culture is the fact that people don't read. They go online and watch videos before they would go pick up the full instructions how to do it from top to bottom and just read. I don't feel like that's why I be feeling like a lot of these people, they're saying, yo, you should go out and teach these people how to do a passport. That'd be the quickest, shortest video ever. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Google, how do I get a passport? Directing you to such and such.gov. And then boom, the video's over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, people read. Anything you want to know how to do, read about it. That's all it takes. I don't need to be an influencer teaching you how, or reading for you. That's what I think that is mostly is. It's me reading for you.
Let's go.
And not just make it be about sex. And the fact that now you're putting this stigma on people and black people in America, that is literally mushing us down. I hate that I said mushing, couldn't find a better word right there.
Right.
But like bringing us down. Right. They all know. They know. But what does that do for our perspective?
Some of them, not all of them, talk so badly about black women in America, saying you guys are too bossy, you're too much, you're not feminine enough for them.
I think that That sounds a lot to me like insecurities and the inability to seek what you want with what you have.
This is called projection.
Thank you. I literally was getting ready to say that. That's called projection. At the end of the day, when men speak and we actually voice like our opinion and we say, hey, this is how we feel about something, a lot of times women like to dismiss it. And they say, well, you don't really feel that way. This is what it really is. And it's like, no, I'm telling you specifically how I feel and what I want. And you're telling me that
it's not valid.
That's not, yeah, exactly. It's not valid. And that is just so insulting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these guys, if this is their argument, they're saying, hey, listen, I don't feel like our women are feminine enough. And I feel like they're very argumentative. And you're like, well, no, you're just insecure. It's like, no, listen to what he said, receive it, and then in turn and say, hey, you know what? If he feels like I'm not feminine, let me ask him a follow-up question. Okay, well, why do you feel that way?
What is feminine
what can
to
I
you?
do to be better?
Yeah, like what is feminine to you and what about me is not that?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You saying I'm argumentative. In what way am I argumentative and how can I reduce that?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to be a confrontational person. At least you shouldn't be if you're not a toxic person.
But it's like you got to want a solution. It just kind of looks like it's like the vibe of, yes, I'm masculine, and yes, I am argumentative, and yes, I'm all of these things that you say I am, but because I don't want to change that, I'm going to say the problem is you instead of saying the problem is me.
I think that's it, man.
Let's continue.
Where you are. That's what I really think about that. It almost disgusts me and is borderline gaslighting to sit here and treat American women, American black women, and try to shut us down because we may be educated or have the ability to
Who said anything about
certain
education?
Finances and social.
Don't do it, Tank.
Man, it don't have nothing to do with that. I'm done. You know, that's pretty much the end of this video anyway. Please tell me what you guys think down in the comments about this particular interview, the Passport Bros, you know.
Where's the Passport Bros interview? I want to interview these guys.
So, you know what? We're actually going to drop that video next. We're going to listen to the main guy that they were talking about in this video and just get his perspective on the whole thing. So, we're actually going to do that right now. Once again, please like, share, subscribe. All the fancy YouTube things.
Make sure you comment, man. Let us know what you thinking about what's being said and what we watching, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've been the Godfather Tank D
Hectic
with
the
my
Backpacker.
man. Yo, and we are out.
Peace.